not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Grandpa. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Grandpa. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Grandpa. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, daddy, grandpa. 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 55 is a way to be. Wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 55 is a way to be. Wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 55 is a way to be. Wait a beat, wait a beat. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa.
Warning, the following content contains lies, misinformation, and doublespeak. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to Liar Liar, the World's on Fire, the only news source that lies to your face and tells you they're doing it. I'm your host, Neverack Winteright. Alright, let me explain how this works. I will present news/stories to you, and there will be one of three things: the truth, a lie, or doublespeak. You probably already know what truthing and lying are, so I'll explain doublespeak. Doublespeak is a bit complicated, but basically doublespeak is lying without lying. Here's an example. You come home from vacation and decide to go to the pool. You walk to the pool, expecting to go swimming. You find that the pool has been drained and instead people are using it to skate in. The people explain that they've drained the pool while you are away. You call your friends up and tell them to meet you at the skate part. They agree and say they'll meet you there soon. Now wait a minute, wouldn't that be lying? It's not a skate park, it's a pool. Well, it wouldn't be lying if you called it a skate rink, and it wouldn't be lying if you called it a pool. It's currently being used as a skate rink, but it is still a pool. So essentially you just lied without actually lying, which is doublespeak. Here's how the show will work. I'll present you with a claim, whether that be a news article, image, or factoid. The claim will be either a lie, truth, or doublespeak. You'll have a set amount of time to guess whether it's the truth, a lie, or doublespeak. The answers will not be revealed in the video, so you will not be able to cheat. Also, the star up in the screen is called Liar's Immunity. While the star is on screen, I am not making a claim for you to debunk. However, if I make a claim when I don't have the star up, then it's your job to prove whether it's true, false, or doublespeak. Make sure you listen very closely to my wording. I will attempt to trick you. With that out of the way, let's begin. To make it harder for you, I'm not going to show the actual or supposed article, as editing a web page to appear real is rather hard. I am simply going to read it to you here. Remember, it's your job to figure out whether I'm lying or not. Pay very close attention. Alright, here's your first claim. Apple announces they will be scanning your photo album for child abuse material. Apple is reportedly set to announce new photo identification features that will use hashing algorithms to match the content of photos in users' photo libraries with known child abuse materials, such as child pornography. Apple systems will happen on the client, on the user's device, in the name of privacy, so the iPhone would download a set of fingerprints representing illegal content and then check each photo in the user's camera roll against that list. Presumably, any matches would then be reported for human review. Apple has previously said it employs hashing techniques as photos are uploaded to iCloud. This new system would be done on the client side, on the user's device. Apple is yet to officially announce this new initiative, and the details will matter. At a high level, this kind of system is similar to machine learning features for object and scene identification already present in Apple Photos. Analysis happens on device, and users can take advantage of better search functionality. However, cryptography and security expert Matthew Green notes that implications of such a rollout are complicated. Hashing algorithms are not foolproof and may turn up false positives. If Apple allows governments to control fingerprint content databases, then perhaps they could use systems to detect images of other things other than clearly illegal child content, such as to suppress political activism. However, note that all photos uploaded to iCloud Photos for backup and sync are not stored end-to-end encrypted anyways. Photos are stored in an encrypted form on Apple server farms, but the keys to decrypt are also owned by Apple. This means that law enforcement agencies can subpoena Apple and see all users' uploaded photos. This is not unusual. All third-party photo services work this way. It is possible that in the future Apple could roll out a similar system to scan content on the client side that would later be stored on a server in an end-to-end encrypted manner. Many governments have campaigned for such a system for E2E private messaging apps like iMessage and WhatsApp, as they are worried that the increasing shift to encrypted communication will make it harder for law enforcement to find and prosecute child abuse cases. Green speculates that Apple wouldn't have invested in developing the system if applying it to end-to-end encrypted content wasn't a long-term goal. Alright, that's the context you get. Now it's time to decide, was I truthing, lying, or doublespeaking? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, grandpa. This beat in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your.
Well, time's up. Do you think you guessed correctly? Having any second doubts? Well, too bad. Let's move on to the next category. Alright, here's the claim. Danganronpa V3 review bomb after Kazuda Hodaka confirmed that one of his characters is gay. Now, a little context. Danganronpa is a Japanese game series where a psychotic teddy bear kidnaps a bunch of highly talented teenagers and forces them to play a killing game. The game has intense violence, anime shenanigans, character development, and romantic subplots, and of course, mystery solving. The series is very popular in Japan and America and has a large number of fans. Recently, Kodaka, the creator of Danganronpa, confirmed on Twitter that one of the characters in Danganronpa V3 is homosexual. I won't be saying which character because that would be a spoiler to the game. Before the news dropped, the game had a very positive review status on Steam, a game library made by Valve, but after the news drop, right-wing subreddits and fans organized a review bomb of the game, bringing it down to an overwhelmingly negative review status. The fan-made subreddit r/Danganronpa had to lock down due to all the negative homophobic comments they were getting. Many fans who aren't homophobic were very upset about this and retaliated by review-boosting Danganronpa V3 as high as they could. However, it was too late at that point. The game remains at a negative rating on Steam. Okay, that's all the context you get. Is this the absolute truth, or is this a no, that's wrong kind of moment? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, grandpa. This beat in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes.
Well, time's up, and it's time to move on. Ooh, this one's looking juicy and a little bit political, so let's see how this plays out. I'm going to play a video for you, but the video in question is not the claim being made, merely part of the evidence being supported. Alright, here's the claim being made. The Taliban has taken over Kabul.
We begin with Afghanistan and the dramatic fall of the capital. Just today, President Biden sending more troops, a total of 6,000 now, to speed up the emergency evacuation of embassy staff and some Afghans who helped the U.S., such as interpreters and their families. The White House releasing this photo of the president being briefed on the developments on the ground. Helicopters and black smoke visible. American diplomats, including the ambassador, evacuated to the airport. At least 500 staff leaving the country so far. The embassy shuttered, the flag coming down. Secretary of State Blinken declaring to ABC's Jonathan Karl, this is manifestly not Saigon. These images from Al Jazeera claim to show Taliban fighters inside the presidential palace. Earlier today, the president of Afghanistan fled the country, saying he chose to avoid bloodshed. Thousands of Afghans now scrambling to get out. The Kabul airport packed earlier today. We have team coverage. ABC's Martha Raddatz, Rachel Scott standing by. But we begin with our senior foreign correspondent, Ian.
All right, that's all the context you get. Is there any way this is real, or is it all fake? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Grandpa. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Grandpa. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Grandpa. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 65 is a way to be. Wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 65 is a way to be. Wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 65 is a way to be. Wait a beat, wait a beat. I'm not your daddy, I'm your
Well, time's up, and it's time to move on. This one is definitely political in nature, so be all warned those who avoid politics. Alright, here's the claim being made. IBX Toycat said Black Lives Don't Matter. Andrew Andrews, also known online as IBX Toycat, is a popular Minecraft YouTuber and streamer. Andrews is 23 years old and lives in the United Kingdom and uploads Minecraft videos to YouTube for a living. Currently, his YouTube channel has 1.72 million subscribers. One of the reasons so many people watch him is he is a Minecraft YouTube veteran, having videos dating back 9 years ago, and his most popular series is a Minecraft Let's Play world that he has been playing on for the past 10 years with no cheats or mods enabled. In a recent video, Andrews went on a small rant and said that Black Lives don't matter. Here, I'll play the clip for you.
Right, no one's arguing, actually Black Lives don't matter. But
As you can imagine, this upset some people and started a flame war in the comment section of his video, with people from both sides of the political spectrum duking it out in the comment section of a Minecraft video. Alright, that's all the context you get. Would IBX Boy Toy ever actually do this, or am I a horrible slander and libel-making person? Make your choice.
daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Grandpa. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Grandpa. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Grandpa. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 65 is a way to be. Wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 65 is a way to be. Wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 65 is a way to be. Wait a beat, wait a beat. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa.
Welp, time's up, and it's time to move on to the next claim. Boy, oh boy, this one will trigger a flame war in the comments, I guarantee it. It may not be the year this is uploaded, but trust me, somewhere in the future, there will be a flame war in the comments of this video. Alright, here's the claim being made. The Jewish population is looking to create a greater Jerusalem in Israel. The outpost was evacuated on Thursday after settlers revolted against the Shin Bet seizure of private homes to make way for new homes. The Israeli government issued a condemnation against the colony's evacuation, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying it did not end the matter and only shows the weakness of the Israeli right. Dozens of hardline nationalist Jews took part in the riot, throwing rocks, firebombs, and flaming flares at security forces. One settler wielding a handgun was also seen directing his fire at security forces. Police used stun grenades, tear gas, and water cannons to prevent the rioters from setting fire to the nearby entrance to the settlement of Ofra. Settlement security forces reportedly responded with strong force, destroying the outpost caravan and temporarily preventing the entry of more settlers to the area. At least 10 Palestinians were detained. The evacuation of the outpost followed the demolition of a Palestinian home in the nearby Havat Gilead outpost last week. The Palestinian home had been built illegally on privately owned Palestinian land, and the occupants had been given 72 hours to vacate it or face being arrested and charged. Israeli law allows for the removal of illegal structures built on private Palestinian land, provided the land in question are returned to their owners. But the orders of eviction in both the Havat Gilead and the Evada are being questioned due to their being made by security services without the presence of both owners. Israeli security forces are often accused of acting unfairly in such cases, and Palestinians have accused Israeli authorities of forcibly displacing Palestinian landowners. The alleged displacement of the residents of Havat Gilead and Nevada is seen as part of the coordinated effort to remove Palestinian families from East Jerusalem neighborhoods in order to create facts on the ground that would make future territorial withdrawals easier. Under the Oslo Accords, most of these Palestinian families were allowed to remain in their homes, but since the outbreak of the Second Palestinian Infidela in 2000, many have been forcibly removed to make way for Jewish settlers. With the start of the latest Palestinian uprising, Israeli governments have accelerated the pace of house demolition and arrests of Palestinians in East Jerusalem. Between 2000 and 2008, the Israeli government demolished the homes of 2,259 Palestinians in the city, forcing most of them to live in squalid displacement camps. A report by the Human Rights Watch released in September found the number of Palestinians forced to move because of the Israeli demolitions has risen to more than 400. One such camp, called Bet El, Arabic for the church, is in an area of East Jerusalem designated by Israel as part of its Greater Jerusalem project. Before 1967, the area was primarily Arab, with some Jewish residents. The camp, now home to approximately 3,200 Palestinians, is close to the church and the Holy Skepsler, and was declared a firing zone by the Israeli military. Under the camping, residents live in tents, sheds, and lean-tos that lack basic facilities such as toilet and kitchen equipment. The camp is under complete Israeli security control and is not affiliated with either the Palestinian Authority or the Hamas movement. West Bank Palestinians can enter it but are denied freedom of movement. They can only leave the camp for work or for medical care, and are subject to searches and other restrictions. But according to a November 2008 report by the Amnesty International, life in the camp resembles that of a prison rather than a refugee camp. The report says that the closure and surveillance in and around the camp are constant, and residents are not free to go about their daily lives. Residents face random and summary arrest and detention. The population is effectively prisoned within a ring of concrete walls. It is not yet clear what the Israeli intend to do with the land that they have stolen from the Palestinians and turned into the Greater Jerusalem project, but it is given that more displacement and imprisonment of the residents is coming. That was a lot, but the question on my mind, do you think that was the truth or a huge lie? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 60 miles away to be. Wait a beat. Over 60 miles away to be. Wait a beat. Over 60 miles away to be. Wait a beat. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa.
I imagine a lot of people are dying to know the truth. Well, too bad! We're moving on to the next claim. This one may excite all you D&D nerds out there, so listen closely. Alright, here's a claim being made. New Cold War themed version of Dungeons & Dragons is leaked. For those out of the loop, Dungeons & Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game. A role-playing game is where you pretend to be someone, usually a fictional character in a fictional world, and go on a journey as a sort of a game, with an end goal in mind. Dungeons & Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game, meaning you play it with dice and other physical items. This image here was leaked a couple of weeks ago on 4chan, the uploader claiming that this is a new would-be game of Dungeons & Dragons. Based on what we can see, and what the anonymous poster said, the new game is looking like it's going to be themed around the real-life Cold War era. For those of you who don't know what the Cold War is, look it up. I'm not a historian. Just kidding. I'll briefly explain it, but if you want to know more, go look it up. The Cold War was an ongoing political rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union and their respective allies that developed after World War II. It was waged mainly on political, economic, and propaganda fronts that lasted until 1991. While not much is currently known about the game besides the theme, we can assume that you will either play on the United States team or the Soviet Union team. All the dice rolling and nerd statistics that the original game had is going to make its way into the new game, as you can see from the leaked character menu. Man, that all seems really exciting, not gonna lie. I'm pretty hyped. Or am I? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars a wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars a wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars a wait a beat, wait a beat. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa.
Welp, just like the Cold War, that's all in the past, and it's time to move on. Ooh, baby, more politics. Can't wait to get canceled on Twitter for this one. Now, just because I read something doesn't mean I agree with it. Keep that in mind. Alright, here's the claim being made. This tweet from Donald Trump Jr. is legitimate. Here, I'll read it for you. Let's be clear, what's happening in Afghanistan is Joe Biden's fault. I'm just glad he bothered to take a whole 10 minutes off his vacation to address the nation and blame everyone but himself without taking questions. Hashtag Biden failure. Hopefully no one takes it out of context and uses it against me, but the question on my mind is this tweet real or fake? Make your choice. Wait a minute, hold the phone, we got a bonus alert here, people?
That's for bonus, dude. There's no way that's for bonus. That's for bonus. It's bonus points. Bonus. That's for bonus. Bonus. That's a bonus over there. Bonus content. Bonus.
Oh, this is the TTT map.
Alright, here's the bonus claim being made. These now deleted tweets from Donald Trump Sr. are legitimate. I'll go ahead and read them for you. Let's get out of Afghanistan. Our troops are being killed by the Afghanis we train and waste billions there. Nonsense. Rebuild the USA. We should leave Afghanistan immediately. No more wasted lives. If we have to go back in, we go in hard and quick. Rebuild the US first. Do not allow our very stupid leaders to sign a deal that keep us in Afghanistan through 2024 with all costs by USA. Make America great. We should have the small remaining of our brave men and women serving in Afghanistan home by Christmas. That seems pretty hypocritical, don't you think? Or is it a big fat lie? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In
Well, similar to Donald Trump's presidency, it's over and it's time to move on. I only upload high quality rips, is what I would say if I was a certain stone statue, but I'm not. Alright, here's a claim being made. Stevie Gunner receives hate after Dream Takeover. Oh boy, this is going to be difficult to explain. Stevie Gunner is a fake-out music channel that uploads high-quality rips. A high-quality rip is a video game music soundtrack disguised to look like the real video game music, but in reality it has been altered or messed with to include a new music, joke, or a meme. Here's an example. If you were to search up on YouTube or even Google athletic theme, this is the first result that pops up. Upon clicking the video, everything looks normal, if not a little bit illegal. Description is accurate with correct composers and platforms. As usual, the person uploading the music has no affiliation with Nintendo in any way, shape, or form. All seems normal, but when you click play, this happens. It seemed normal at first, with athletic theme playing, but then it gets a little weird, with the rhythm and tempo changing a little bit, but quickly goes back to normal. But then, out of nowhere, Witch Doctor ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah, ting-ting, walla-walla, bing-bang plays with athletic theme. At this point, you realize you've been baited, completely and utterly, and that is the entire point of Stevie Gunner, to mislead and confuse people looking up video game music and then trick them into a bait and switch. For a little more context, Stevie Gunner is usually taken over, where a specific, usually gaming-related character or icon or streamer uploads music related to themselves or their game. Recently, the Stevie Gunner channel was taken over by the discredited Minecraft speedrunner Dream. One such rip is this one, which appears as Super Mario 3D All-Stars Super Mario 64 staff roll music, but when you actually play it, it's mixed in with The Mask by Dream. Take a listen. whole event, many jokes and memes were made, making fun of Dream, such as accusing him of cheating in his speedrun, to all the other dramas and controversies Dream has been in. While Steve Gunner is all too familiar with the dislike bombing, he got another round of it from the Dream fans over on r/DreamWasTaken subreddit. However, in recent days, the dislike bombing has stopped as the takeover has ended by now. Okay, that was a lot of information to take in. Got that all wrapped around your head? Well, now factor in the chance that I may have been lying to you. Yeah, how'd that feel? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa.
I don't blame you if you got that wrong. It's a 1 in 3 chance at that point. But anyways, it's time to move on. Do not harass any subreddits or individuals involved in this post. I mean it. Alright, here's the claim being made. Clarissa Ward never wore a hijab. This image was posted to r/conservative with the title reading, "What a Difference 24 Hours Make," claiming to show a picture of Clarissa Ward at first with no hijab on in Afghanistan, covering the exit of the United States. The second image claimed to show Clarissa Ward wearing a hijab. I'll read the Wikipedia page for hijab for you. A hijab is a religious veil worn by many Muslim women in the presence of any male outside their immediate family, which usually covers the hair, head, and chest. The term can refer to any hair, head, face, or body covering worn by Muslim women that conform to Islamic standards of modesty. Another interpretation can also refer to the seclusion of women from men in the public sphere, whereas a metaphysical dimension may refer to the veil which separates man or the world from God. If you don't know what the religion of Islam is, well, I'm not sure I'm going to be of any help to you here. I mean, what year are you watching this and not knowing about the religion of Islam? Has religion been outlawed in the future? I sure hope so. Anyways, I'm here to say the woman in the bottom picture of this meme is not Clarissa Ward. In fact, it's another woman entirely. Clarissa Ward never wore a hijab while she was in Afghanistan, and she has since evacuated for safety reading. So this meme to r/conservative is completely inaccurate and misleading. Man, it's so typical for conservatives to make shit up and lie to you. Or am I the one lying to you? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa.
Well, time's up, and it's time to move on. Let's keep up the pace, shall we? Alright, here's the claim being made. Otis Wansley sued for allegedly grooming, sexually abusing an 11-year-old girl in 1981. Otis Wansley is being accused of sexually abusing an 11-year-old girl in 1981, according to a new lawsuit filed Monday. The renowned Mississippian NFL football player for the Washington Redskins sexually abused and threatened physical violence against the plaintiffs, identified only as VB in the court documents. The alleged abuse occurs multiple times over a 10-week period between February and April 1981, with several incidents occurring in the Oasis Resort Gulfport in Mississippi. The legal documents obtained by the Columbus Post also claim that Otis exploited his status as a football player to illegally provide drugs and alcohol to the underage girl. The Columbus Post has reached out to Otis' attorney for comment. Otis's predatory, sexual, and unlawful acts against the plaintiffs amounted to a series of harmful and offensive contacts to the plaintiff's person, all of which were done intentionally by him to her without her consent. The lawsuit filed by lawyer Irvin W. Harrington reads, as a result of the alleged abuse, the plaintiff has sustained physical and psychological injuries, including severe emotional and psychological distress, humiliation, fright, disassociation, anger, depression, anxiety, personal turmoil, and loss of faith, and a severe shock to her nervous system, physical pain, and mental anguish, and emotional and psychological damage. The Mississippi Child Victims Act, passed in 2007, opened a window for people who claim they were sexually abused as children to file lawsuits against their alleged abuser, even though their allegations would otherwise be too old to prosecute due to the statute of limitations. The look-back window in the law closed on Saturday when the law expired. The lawsuit was filed the day prior. Aside from Otis, another famous person targeted by a look-back law is Prince Andrew, who was sued last week in federal court in Manhattan by a woman who invoked the Child Victims Act in her complaint that she was trafficked to the Duke of York by convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in 2001 in New York when she was 17. Alright, how many of you watching actually remember seeing Wanley play for the Washington Redskins? In fact, how many of you are even old enough to have seen him play for the Redskins? Now it's time to decide, was I lying or telling the truth? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, daddy, grandpa. 15 minutes, not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa.
Just like Wanley's career, it feels like it ended in 1985, and it's time to move on. Alright, we'll do a little context before we get into the claim being made. Kyle Rittenhouse was the Kenosha shooter during the Kenosha unrest shooting. A lot of controversy surrounds him because he killed 3 people during the protest of Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake was a 29-year-old black man who was shot by police with his 3 sons in the back of the car. Following the shooting of Jacob Blake, the Kenosha unrest protests began, mostly by the group Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Several counter-protesters also took to the street to protest the protesters that were protesting the killing of Jacob Blake. One such protester was a 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse came armed to the Kenosha unrest protest with a Smith & Wesson MP-15 and killed 3 people. Rather than shoot and kill him like they had done with Jacob Blake, the police did not shoot or even harm Kyle Rittenhouse. Many suspect that the reason is because Kyle Rittenhouse was white and Jacob Blake was black. Kyle Rittenhouse has become a symbol of hate and basically a celebrity in American politics. Alright, with the context out of the way, here's the claim being made. This is an article about Kyle Rittenhouse. Milwaukee, the mother of Kyle Rittenhouse, Wendy Rittenhouse, is now the subject of a new and upcoming court trial over the death of Anthony Huber, one of the victims of Kyle Rittenhouse in the Kenosha unrest shooting in August of 2020. Currently, the whereabouts of Kyle Rittenhouse are unknown. He was last seen in a bar where he flashed a white power sign. After he killed and maimed multiple individuals, Kyle Rittenhouse walked up to a dozen Kenosha police officers, assault rifle in hand, with crowds yelling that he had just killed innocent people. What did the police do? They spoke to him and let him walk away, said Huber family attorney Ann Schwissman. Make no mistake, if Kyle Rittenhouse had been black, or had been wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, there is no way on God's green earth that he would have been allowed to walk away. More likely, he would have been shot dead in the street. Sam Hall, an attorney representing Kenosha County, and Sheriff David Beth, calls the claim demonstrably false. While we understand that the family of Anthony Humer is grieving his loss, we must make it clear that the allegations against Sheriff Beth and the Kenosha Sheriff's Office and Mrs. Rittenhouse are demonstrably false, and that the facts will show that Mr. Huber's death was not caused by any actions or inactions of Kenosha's law enforcement, according to a statement from Hall. The lawsuit alleges that the police invited Rittenhouse and other armed individuals to patrol the streets with deadly weapons and mete out justice as they saw fit, according to a news release. The police are supposed to serve and protect, Anthony's father John Huber said in the statement. Well, that's not what the Kenosha police did. They walked away from their duties and turned over the streets of Kenosha to Kyle Rittenhouse and other armed vigilantes. If they had done their job, my son would still be alive today. Alright, that's all the context you get. Take a guess. Am I lying or not? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat. 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 I'm not your daddy, I'm your
Man, that's all pretty fucked up, but a lot of fucked up things happened in the past, and the only thing we can do is move forward. Now, hold on a second, we got a double baby bonus alert? A freaking double baby bonus alert?
That's for bonus, dude. There's no way that's for bonus. That's for bonus. It's bonus point. Bonus. That's for bonus. Bonus. That's a bonus over there. Bonus content. Bonus.
Oh, this is the TTT map.
Now, just because I read something doesn't mean I agree with that. Keep that in mind. Alright, here's the double bonus claim being made. Besides the censorships in this image was actually uploaded to Reddit unironically. Here, I'll read it for you. Title: Kyle Rittenhouse is an American hero. Soy Jack, he crossed state lines. Chad, he lived 25 minutes away regularly and regularly goes to the area. Soy Jack, he fled a crime scene. Chad, he turned himself in once he got back home. Soy Jack, he was only there to murder protesters. Chad, pictures of him cleaning graffitis hours before. Soy Jack, he killed innocent protesters. Chad, he killed a registered sex offender and shot 2 felons, one of which was illegally carrying. Soy Jack, he instigated the violence. Chad, have you even watched the video yourself? The post in question has several awards and 1.4 thousand upvotes, and is only 30% downvoted, along with having 53 comments. It's not hard to believe that some racist would post this, but would Reddit actually ever allow this type of content, or am I a big fat liar? Make your choice!
daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat. 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 I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa.
Man, that's really fucked up that someone would create that, even if it wasn't actually posted to Reddit. Hopefully whoever made that gets banned and they'll only be a fragment of the past, and we can all move forward. This, people, is why we don't want religion to mix with state. This right here. Take notes, all of you, in the future. Alright, here's a claim being made. Taliban imposes ban on COVID vaccine. The Taliban have captured several provinces in the eastern part of Afghanistan, including Paktika province. The Taliban has banned the vaccination of corona in Paktika province. This information has been given by a radio and TV platform in Afghanistan. Paktika province was captured by Taliban militants last week. The Taliban removed the sacred target from a gurudwara in the same province. Meanwhile, a video is also going viral on Facebook. Taliban leaders are also seen partying at the house of former Vice President Marshal Abdul Rashid Dostum. An estimated 65% of Afghanistan is under Taliban control. It is now close to the capital, Kabul. The Taliban captured Kandahar, Lashkar-Gah, and Herat on Friday. Today, the Taliban also attacked Mazar-e-Sharif, a major city in Afghanistan. The Afghan government has now offered talks with the Taliban. However, there was no response from the Taliban. The Taliban are said to be unwilling to accept the offer of a power share. On the other hand, lakhs of people are becoming homeless and relief camps are emerging in this war. This almost seems like an article from The Onion. Well, if this is true, I don't want any Muslims in my country. Or is this a big fat lie? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars a wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars a wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars a wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa.
Well, time's up, and it's time to move on. History ain't my favorite, but I do love looking at ruins. Alright, here's the claim being made. All of these pictures are the Namache of Belgium. Off the town of Samson, Belgium, lies the ruins of Namache as shown in these images. The ruins have a rich history dating back to the 16th century. As you might be able to guess, the place used to be a place of worship, aka a church. The place has fallen into disrepair and is not well maintained, but has stood the hardships of weather throughout the decades. The place is not popular as it is next to a small town that does not have much tourism and is low profit in and of itself. The ruins are absolutely beautiful for their age. The ruins are made of granite, which has allowed them to stay in such a nice shape for such a long time. Here, take some time to look at these images. Man, that was stunning. But can a lie be beautiful, or is this the beautiful truth? Make your choice.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, grandpa.
Time's up. Stop living in the past and keep up with the present. Pay very close attention on this one. You might mess up. Alright, here's a claim being made. What I'm telling you is a lie. True or false, go.
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your.
Time's up. Sorry to do you in like this, Andrews, but I can't have you jeopardizing this last game, so I need you gone for this one. You've made it this far, but this time no Andrews to help you. Welcome to the unknowable claim. Alright, here's the final claim being made. After years of oppression, the people of Yemen, including women, are able to enjoy such things as a go-kart ride. For a little context, I'll be reading this Wikipedia article. The Yemeni civil war is an ongoing, multi-sided civil war that began in late 2014 between name I cannot pronounce government and the Houthi armed movement, along with their supporters and allies. Both claim to constitute the official government of Yemen. The civil war began in September 2014 when Houthi forces took over the capital of city of Sanya, which followed by rapid Houthi takeover of the government. On March 21, 2015, Houthi-led Supreme Revolutionary Committee declared a general mobilization to overthrow Haiti and expand their control by driving into southern provinces. The Houthi offensive, allied with military forces loyal to Saleh, began fighting the next day in the Laji governorate. Haiti fled the country the same day. Currently, a coalition led by Saudi Arabia launched a military operation by using airstrikes to restore former Yemeni government. Although there was no direct intervention by Iran, who supports the Houthis, the conflict has been widely seen as an extension of the Iran-Saudi Arabia proxy conflict as a means to combat Iranian influence in the region. For your last bit of context, here's the video. Alright, that's all the context you get. Is this the truth or is it a lie?
Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Ram, daddy, not your daddy, I'm your daddy, 15 minutes. Daddy, daddy, grandpa. This meet in 15 minutes. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. Not your daddy, not your grandpa. I'm your grandpa. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15 minutes. In 15. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa. Wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. Over 50 dollars, wait a beat, wait a beat, wait a beat. I'm not your daddy, I'm your grandpa.
Well, time's up, and the show reaches its end. Thank you all so much for watching till the end. If you want to know the truth to these claims, refer to Exiler Andrews, who works for the Ministry of Truth. He'll debunk all my lies and reveal all my truths. I hope you enjoy, and remember, what I'm telling you is a lie. See you all next episode. Bye-bye.